Well, hello, I'm Nick Goodwin, the City of Coeur d'Alene Urban Forester with the City of Coeur d'Alene Parks and Recreation Department. I'm standing here today at Tubbs Hill, which is a 165-acre natural area that is a city park and one of our natural areas in Coeur d'Alene. It's managed by the City of Coeur d'Alene in conjunction with the Tubbs Hill Foundation. I'm also with Mark Wiedek, who is with that foundation. He is a forester and has been working on this hill for over 40 years. I'm also with Jack Nesbitt, who is a writer and a naturalist who is assisting us today. As I mentioned, this is a city park, one of our natural areas, 165 acres of beautiful natural area here in downtown Coeur d'Alene, right at the heart of downtown Coeur d'Alene. It abuts the lake and is enjoyed by the public on a daily basis for recreation, trail walking, and just enjoying nature. This hill is one of, if not the most treasured pieces of property in Coeur d'Alene. It is rich in history, and it's extremely important to our community. And we're here today to walk the hill, enjoy it, and learn a bit with these two gentlemen.
And I'm from Spokane, and I have been hanging around with Mark, learning from him for decades, also because I'm interested in the history of who came here, usually white fur traders, right, meeting tribes. And this place works really well for that because it has this mix of vegetation and forest and views of the lake and views of the geology that just drive us all crazy. So we wanted to start at this place because Mark and I both came at this from a love of trees, and there are beautiful trees right here at the opening of the path. And I have to ask Mark why they're here, how did they survive, and what are they up to? What is their fate over time?
Well, we're on the north side of the hill, the most moist side of the hill, and at the toe of this slope, over time, the soil accumulated. It's called colluvial soil, and in this nice deep soil, we have these large white pine and western larch. These are the biggest trees on the hill, and the rest of the hill, we'll talk about that a little bit more, was subject to various glacial Lake Missoula flood episodes that washed this hill right down to bare rock. And so the soil is thin. It's only had a few thousand years to accumulate. And so we'll see the effects of that. But right here, these are the biggest trees on the whole hill.
And I guess I have to say is David Thompson's one of the guys that Mark and I share. He's a fur trader that came into this Salish-speaking tribal country in 1807, and he immediately saw tribal people building amazing sturgeon-nose canoes out of white pine bark. So we can get excited when we see white pines of this quality, clear and tall and straight.
Well, this is rotted wood. It is loaded with both potassium and phosphorus. The fungi and bacteria that break this down synthesize nitrogen from the air. And so this is the most important natural soil amendment that we have on the hill.
And as you look up the hill here, this is where we're going to be going in, and there's a series of white flowering shrubs that bloom in sequence that set the calendar for everybody, especially if you're Aboriginal people before contact, on how it works. The one we're seeing blooming today all over the place is nine bark with these hemispherical balls of white flowers that are very pretty, and 9 layers, a bunch of layers that you can peel off the trunk. And then the next one to come on is called Ocean Spray, and it's just now starting to bloom, where it keeps the blooms from last year, and then the pencils from this year are just starting to come on. Here's the pencils of the Ocean Spray coming out. The tribal people call this ironwood because it's very hard wood, and the stems of mature trees work great for digging sticks, specialty hard tools like that. So again, here's the 9 bark, here's the Ocean Spray. They're really distinctive once you get to know them. But at a distance, as you're walking past Tubbs Hill, you go through this sequence, starting with serviceberry and working its way through 6 or 7 beautiful white flowering shrubs that all have their different attributes as we move through the year.
This is an example of belt series sedimentary rock. It's quite common in this area. It's very, very old rock. Actually, on top of the rock we have a Douglas fir that is an example of phototropism, which simply means this tree, in the process of tipping over, has searched for light in order to survive.
One of the treasure flowers of Tubbs Hill in right at the mid-June time is three-spot Mariposa lily. There's a whole bunch of Mariposa lilies in North America. This one's endemic really to North Idaho. Some people call it Kootenai Mariposa lily. It's just eastern Washington, northwestern Montana, a little bit of southeastern BC, but the Panhandle is its home range, and it doesn't grow much south of here. So it's very exciting for those of us who love Mariposa lilies to come up and just see them by the score up here. We'll see a lot of these today. And the three black spots inside the cup are what distinguish it. Okay, we got to change here. It's obviously much wetter. We're looking at different trees, and all of a sudden all these roses are out. Another cultural plant like the lily that is really important for a variety of reasons, but also really beautiful for just walking around in the park. But look at this tamarack tree. Mark, what is this doing here?
Well, because we're on the north side of the hill, again, more moisture, and so we pick up western larch or tamarack. We also pick up grand fir. This is the only area on the hill that's moist enough for there to be grand fir. Some 15 to 12,000 years ago, there was an ice dam that repeatedly broke on the Clark Fork River, releasing huge amounts of water and glacial debris from that area that swept down across the Coeur d'Alene area. The city of Coeur d'Alene is on 200 to 300 feet of glacial drift. That same events put a dam across what was today the Spokane River and created Lake Coeur d'Alene. You can see the rocks in this area are quite smooth because the water and glacial drift acted as a scouring, as an abrasive mechanism, and it scoured the hill, rounded the rocks on this side. As the water spilled over the west and south sides of Tubbs Hill, the backwash from that created cliffs and ledges that give a radically different appearance than we see right here with the smooth rocks. We're on the northwest side of the hill, and the basement rock here is mica schist. Again, it's a very old rock. So on the horizon you can see Mica Peak, and the stream that drains that is Mica Creek. In the lake you'll find flecks of mica that are suspended in the water column. As the floodwaters literally roared over the hill, then we have back eddies and we have cliffs that were made as a result of the water spilling over the hill from a northerly direction. So the landform here was greatly altered by the floodwaters spilling over this side of the hill. We're on the south side of the hill, and on this dry site the ponderosa pine has been infected by a parasitic plant called mistletoe. It, while it seldom kills the tree, it causes deformities, and it adversely affects the growth. This parasitic plant puts its roots, called hyphia, actually into the tree, and it lives on the nutrients that are in the tree branch or in the tree stem, and it causes over time a witch's brooming. From a forestry standpoint, this would really adversely affect the value of the trees. Here on Tubbs Hill, it's simply part of the natural environment.
So we have just spent all morning walking, circumnavigating Tubbs Hill. We started at this grove of trees, and now we're right back here in front of a twin tamarack that Mark and I have talked about and enjoyed for some time. And we just feel like we got another great day out of Tubbs Hill, and I'm happy to have been here and happy that it's here in the shape that it is in.
And so I've been walking Tubbs Hill for some 40 years. Back in 1996, after I retired, I joined the Tubbs Hill Foundation, or I should say they accepted my application. And so it's been, I guess you could say, a love affair for coming out and not only going around the hill, but helping to do some things that the Tubbs Hill Foundation can do, and Dave would be happy to give you a little more information on that.
And I'm Dave Yaden, president of the Tubbs Hill Foundation, and I love the hill, just as Jack does and Mark does, and thousands of other people that live in the community and visit every day. And we hope you can enjoy it into the future, and our purpose as a foundation is to try to keep it as natural as possible, and we need your help, and we encourage your help. Go to our website, tubbshill.org. We're happy to answer questions and hope you can enjoy and come out and help us preserve the hill. Thanks a lot.